This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Thrillist. Is Microsoft gearing up to try to buy Yahoo again? Is Nokia's first Windows Phone 7 device going to be called the Sabre? And what in the world are BlackBerry and Porsche doing in Dubai next week? If they've got BlackBerry DevCon Americas going on in San Francisco right now, well, now it's over, but this week, I don't get it. I can't keep up with these things. That's why they're called rumors. That's why we round them up. It's Techno Buffalo's Rumor Roundup. Hello, and what is happening? Welcome to the Roundup. My name's Noah Kravitz, and this is Revision 3's Rumor Roundup with Techno Buffalo. This week's episode for today, the week ending Friday, October 21st, 2011. I've been into doing the hand signals. This week's episode is brought to you by our friends at Thrillist. Yahoo's been up for sale for as long as I can remember, and Microsoft's been linked to them for as long as I can remember. It was back several years ago that a very publicized rumor started kicking around about Microsoft making a bid for Yahoo, and the bid failed, and it all went. It was a disaster, and Yahoo's stock price tanked, and I don't know. That was sort of not quite the beginning, but that definitely was a watershed moment in Yahoo's spiral, which has been spiraling since then. Well, if you believe the reports this week, Microsoft may be gearing up to make another bid to buy out Yahoo, although this time they're not going to be doing it alone. Reports have Microsoft linked to Silver Lake Partners, a private equity firm that already has a big stake in Alibaba, the company that owns 40% of Yahoo. Reports have Microsoft linked to Silver Lake Partners, working with another one of the equity firm's investors to try to put together a proposal to buy Yahoo once and for all. The proposal being discussed would have Microsoft putting up several $1 billion of their own money, with the rest of the funding coming through Silver Lake's various partners. But apparently this is one of up to 9 deals currently being discussed, put together, talked about in smoky back rooms with sniffers of brandy and big cigars, or however it is big executives make deals these days. I like to think of that image though, right? Everything, forget Silicon Valley, everything happens in the back room of a restaurant in New Jersey. Somebody clearly misses The Sopranos. Speaking of Microsoft, their new best friend in the mobile hardware business, Nokia, is gearing up to launch the first batch of Windows Phone 7 or Windows Phone 7.5 Mango devices at Nokia World next week in London. Our very own Emily Price will be making the trip across the pond to bring you all of the news, all the new devices, everything else from Nokia World next week on the scene. So tune into Techno Buffalo for all of that. And one of the devices that is being talked about right now is something that's named Sabre, or at least codenamed Sabre, according to reports on the good old internet. But these reports actually had some photos and that kind of thing. There's a device being called Sabre that might be unveiled alongside of the Nokia C-Ray, which is now being referred to as the 800. C-Ray, if you'll recall, is the device that right after Nokia unveiled the absolutely gorgeous, totally dead on arrival MeeGo-powered N9, in a little press conference after that, Nokia did one of these things where they're like, oh, what's in my jacket? Oh, what's this? Oh, it looks like an N9, but it runs Windows Phone. I wonder what it is. Well, let's put it away. And that, sparked all kinds of talk about like, oh, so this is the deal. They were already building the N9. They couldn't stop. So at least they're going to shoehorn Windows Phone into it because MeeGo's dead, which now it's officially dead. It's now called Tizen, but that's another story. Anyway, looks like we're going to see the C-Ray or 800 or whatever it is unveiled. And then also we may see this new device being referred to as Sabre. Sabre said to be running a single-core 1.4 gigahertz CPU, packing 1 gig of RAM with a 3.5-inch WVGA display and a 5-megapixel rear camera. Sounds like a mid-range phone to me, and the alleged pricing, running somewhere between $400 and $500 off contract, would in fact back up the spec sheet to say, yeah, this is the mid-range offering. We'll give you the big guns with C-Ray. We'll give you a Sabre for something that'll rattle your wallet a little bit less. Get it? Sabre, it rattles it. Nah, I don't know. Anyway, whatever's coming out of London next week from Nokia, Windows Phone, all that stuff. Like I said, Emily will be there. Check out Techno Buffalo for the latest and hands-on with all of the new devices. I, for one, am psyched to see these because Nokia, they still make gorgeous hardware, and they have said, it's pretty much fact at this point, that their Windows Phone devices are going to have a little something extra. It's not just going to be the standard Windows Phone install that you're seeing on devices from companies like HTC and Samsung, who differentiate, with their name brand and their own hardware design. But instead, Nokia apparently is going to be able to add something extra to the Windows Phone pie. And a lot of talk about even more social networking integration on Nokia's phones than you see on the standard Windows Phone devices from other companies. So very interested to see what this will all look like. And again, I think Nokia makes gorgeous hardware and their cameras are always top notch. So I'm excited to see them sort of rebirth with a modern operating system. So fingers crossed, Sabre, C-Ray 800, whatever it is, let's hope it's good when it comes out next week. You know how you have that one friend who's always hooking you up with the cool new bands before anybody else has even heard of them? Well, Thrillist is like that, but for cool new stuff to do and places to go. Want to know about a Star Wars burlesque show, a beer garden that screens 80s flicks, or a cool new restaurant with a sushi robot? Then sign up for Thrillist. It's a free daily email that sifts through the crap to bring you only the best in new places to go, new bars, new restaurants, events, and services. Whatever it is, they promise it won't suck. Just hit up Thrillist.com/Buffalo. That's Thrillist.com/BUFFALO Buffalo, and you'll start getting Thrillist's sweet, sweet knowledge right now. All right, speaking of phone launches in faraway lands, BlackBerry is apparently gearing up for a launch next week in Dubai. This is really interesting to me because I just spent part of this past week at BlackBerry's big developers conference, DevCon Americas 2011, right here in San Francisco. We didn't see any new phone launches. We did hear about BBX, which is what BlackBerry is calling their next generation operating system for phones. They've already got the Playbook OS, they're now calling it, for the Playbook tablet, and the Playbook OS is built upon QNX, and apparently BBX is what they're going to call the QNXified, if you will, the QNXified version of the BlackBerry operating system for smartphones. They talked about it, they didn't actually show anything. So everybody was sort of left, sort of scratching their heads like, well, okay, you showed us a logo, but what's it going to look like? And there's no new hardware, and I don't know, RIM needed a home run here, and instead we sort of got a wild pitch. What's going on? Well, apparently they are going to launch some new hardware, but they're doing it next week in Dubai with Porsche. Invites have gone out to be a part of something truly exclusive. I'm going to do my air quotes. To be a part of something truly exclusive at an event on Thursday, October 27th in Dubai. And the companies are expected to unveil the BlackBerry Night 9980, which is a BlackBerry device. It's the candy bar form factor with a screen and a keyboard underneath it. So the same general form factor as the Bold and the Curve and that kind of thing, but a radically different design, done up in silver metal, very angular, just very different. Probably going to be a limited run, exclusive kind of thing, sort of like the Vertu, I guess, that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, they're launching it in Dubai next Thursday. I don't know. It makes you wonder what RIM's strategy is. It sounds like, stopgap until they can get those BBX QNX powered phones, up and running and ready to show off, and they feel like they need to launch something, which is, really interesting and sort of head scratching to me that they've really underwhelmed people at DevCom with a lack of announcements, and now they're launching this thing in Dubai next week. Who knows though? I don't know. Maybe that's the way to do it. All right. There you go. It's the Rumor Roundup again. Next week, Emily's going to be in London. Stay tuned for all that. If somebody buys Yahoo, we'll let you know as soon as possible. And whatever comes out of Dubai, we'll report on that too, all on Techno Buffalo. Thanks again to our friends at Thrillist for sponsoring this week's episode of the Roundup. And thanks to Revision 3. I'm going to do the thing with the numbers. Thanks to Revision 3 for having the three of us, me, John, and John, on Revision 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There you go. Till next time, my name's Noah. This has been The Roundup. Bye-bye. '80s flicks or a new... dude!